Hi everyone! For today's science lesson, we are going to be starting a new activity. So today we are going to be learning about sounds. Now, I have my friend Doug who's going to help us learn with his show, Mystery Science. I am so excited for us to start this lesson today.
Hi, it's Doug. Have you ever accidentally discovered something that makes a funny sound? Like, here's one I found the other day. Maybe you've done this before. Or sometimes you might just find something that sounds interesting, like this. Making a funny or interesting sound, it might make you smile. But do you know what? There are some adults whose job it is to discover ways to make new and interesting sounds. Like, have you ever thought about when you watch a show or you see a movie, if it's a cartoon, not only did everything you see in that cartoon have to be created by an artist, but people also have to create everything you hear in cartoons. Like any of the characters in your favorite movie. They're created, which means their voices have to be created too. The words are read by actors. If you've seen Finding Dory, you'll remember there's one scene where Dory talks about having a tag on her fin. But we can go behind the scenes and we can see who's the person creating Dory's voice. Watch.
What tag? There's a tag on my fin. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Sorry, I suffer from short-term memory loss. Nope, not a clue. What were we talking about?
It's fun to see someone who does a voice of the cartoon characters that you know. But now, what about all the other sounds that are needed for a movie? Well, not just the characters, but when things are happening. Like in Star Wars, when spaceships are flying around and lasers. Listen to all those sounds, the laser sounds. They sound like pew, pew, pew. Listen again. And you might wonder, how do they make those sounds? Well, these sorts of sounds, the ones that aren't the voices of characters, we call those sound effects. Watch how a sound effect artist creates the laser sound using, guess what, a metal slinky. Ready? Listen. Cool, let's see that up close. So that's how it's done. Now, what if you had a cartoon about frogs and you needed the sound of frogs croaking to go along with the cartoon? Now, how would you make those? Well, you don't need the sound of real frogs in order to make a sound for this. Watch what this sound effects artist does. So you see, the sound effect artist was just rubbing one string across another string that was really tight in order to create the sound of frogs. Now, what if you needed wind for a cartoon that shows a windy day? How do they do that? Again, you don't need the real sound of wind. Watch and listen now. And if this were a cartoon about a storm, how would they make the sound of thunder? Check this out. You see that? He's just vibrating a big metal sheet and banging against it. You might notice that for a lot of these sounds, sound effect artists find it helpful to do a back and forth movement of one thing rubbing or hitting against another. And we call something going back and forth a vibration. Different kinds of vibrations make different sounds. Like when a door spring goes back and forth or vibrates, it makes a silly sound. And vibrating a tight string back and forth, we saw makes the sound of a frog. And vibrating a big sheet of metal back and forth makes a deep rumble like thunder. Now, say that your job was to come up with sound effects for a cartoon or a movie. Let's say, for example, that you had to come up with the sound effects for the rain during a storm. I have a question for you. I sent it to your teacher so that you can read it together.
So let's read this sentence together. How would you make the sound of rain? How would you make the sound of rain? I'm not sure. What do you guys think? How could we make the sound of rain?
In today's activity, you're going to make all the sounds of a cartoon rainstorm, just like a sound effects artist would do. First, though, let's listen to the sounds of a real rainstorm. So go ahead and close your eyes now and listen closely to the sound of the rain that I'm about to play. Are your eyes closed? Okay, I'll start playing the sound. A storm starts with the wind. And then a light rain begins to fall. You hear the sound of small drops of water. The raindrops, more and more of them begin to fall, making a sound that gets louder and louder. Lightning flashes. Thunder rumbles. Then the storm starts to pass over you. And the thunder stops. Now fewer drops fall. The sound of the rain gets softer and softer. Then the rain stops. It's quiet. The storm is over. Now that you've listened to a real storm, are you ready to be a sound effects artist? Go ahead and open your eyes. Since a rainstorm is made of many small drops of water, it helps if you have a group of people, all making sounds that add up to a storm. But even if you're working alone, you can make a small storm. I'll walk you through it step by step. Before we begin, let's stand up and practice making the sounds of rain. Afterwards, you'll match it to the video. Okay, so stand up and follow along with the screen. Rub your hands together like this. This will be the sound of the wind through the trees, right before it starts to rain. Now, slowly tap 2 fingers against your hand. This will be the first few raindrops, slowly falling. Third, clap a little faster than you tapped. This will be the sound of the rain falling harder. Fourth, clap and stomp your feet like this. This will be the sound of the rain pouring down. All right, good job. If you're done practicing, press the arrow on the right. Otherwise, this video will repeat so that you can practice again.
If you need to practice these moves again, you can just rewind the video because we are going to keep on moving.
Now, we'll show you a storm, and you'll be the sound effects artist. This part of the screen will show where the storm is happening, and this part will remind you what to do. Are you ready? Make sure you're standing up. Okay, the wind is coming in. The wind is blowing. Make the sound of wind. Oh, now we got a few raindrops starting to fall from the sky. Oh, here comes more rain. It's getting heavier. Oh, now the rain is really heavy. Now the rain is pouring. Oh, the storm is at its worst. Lightning strikes. The lightning's over. Now the rain is starting to get a little less heavy. back to just a few drops. Oh, the rain is over and we're back to just wind now.
How awesome was that, getting to make the sounds in the storm? I really hope you enjoyed learning with Doug today. So now I have this activity attached to our lesson today, but before you click on it, I wanted to show you how to use it. So this is called bouncy balls, and something that is really cool about this is that your sound and the vibrations control the balls. So as you can see right now, we have a screen full of a lot of eyeballs. Now if you look on this side of the screen, we have a lot of choices. So first, let's go to where it says theme. Right now it's on eyeballs. You can change to bubbles, emojis, or plastic balls. Now here where it says total, you can limit how many you have. So if you want just a few, or if you turn it all the way up and you want 200 and fill it all the way up, you can also do that. So here under theme is where you can change the type of ball you have. And in total, however far you drag will give you more or less. Now your sensitivity, you can just leave it where it's at. If you turn it up really, really high, that means when you make a sound, it's going to move like crazy. If you turn it all the way down, it would take a lot of noise to move it. So notice how the whole time Mrs. Collier has been talking, the balls have not moved. That's because my microphone is off. But I want to show you what it looks like when I turn my microphone on. Every time I talk, all of the balls are moving around. It's listening to my voice, and the balls are moving. Now, I talked about sensitivity earlier. If I turn my sensitivity up, it's too noisy. So I need to turn it down a little bit. Here we go. And if I turn it way, way down, even though I'm talking in a normal voice, they're not moving a whole lot. So you'll notice that that noise alert came up. That is down here. So when I get too loud, it tells me to hush. So I can turn my sensitivity up just a little bit, but notice if I take it really high again, it's going to tell me to hush. And you can change the theme as you are going through. So I just thought this was a really cool tool for us to see since we are learning about sounds and vibrations. And I just wanted to show before you logged on there what it looks like with all of these tools over here. I hope you have so much fun playing with this. Don't get too loud.